Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, Out of Voice Radio. So today, I am showing you one of the very first cards we've seen from the upcoming Sun and Moon 4 set, Crimson Invasion. And yes, I'm aware it is the day that Burning Shadows comes out. But, ladies and gentlemen, these cards have been revealed. What am I going to do? Not show them to you? No. I am going to show them to you. It's Miltank! Yay! And Miltank's got a really quite nice ability. Now, to look at the basics, it is a basic, which means you can use Nest Ball, you can use Fighting Fury Belt to up the HP and damage, and you can use Max Elixir to get the energy onto Miltank. Being a colourless Pokemon means you're hitting literally nothing for weakness, and having a retreat cost of 2 is actually really annoying, because as we're going to see in a moment, this is a Pokemon you want to get in the active, get out the active, get in the active, get out the active. We'll get to it. Weakness to fighting's actually really annoying. The new Lycan Rock from Burning Shadows is going to have a field day with this, because it hits 60 for 1 fighting energy, with the weakness will instantly KO. But then we've got Marshadow that gives every deck a good fighting type attacker at the moment. I mean, fighting weakness is a bad one to have, but you're giving up 1 prize. And as I always say, if your opponent is KOing your tech Pokemon on the bench, especially your single prize tech Pokemon, they're not going after your attackers. So the weakness isn't a huge issue here, because I don't think your opponent is really going to be hunting it down. In terms of the attack, it's not particularly good. 3 colourless energy, 60 damage, flip a coin, if heads, it does 90. It's not particularly strong. Still better than Charizard, but not particularly strong. But that's not what we're excited about with Miltank. You can use double colourless energy and you can tech it into every deck, but if you're putting free energy on a Miltank to try and hit 90 with a coin flip, I suppose I could mention Victini giving you a 75% chance of hitting 90, but I'm not going to, any more than they already have. It's the ability, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we're loving here. If Miltank is your active Pokemon, and you attach an energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon, you may heal 90 damage from that Pokemon. That is crazy good. I don't know how many of you remember, but back in the age of Ace-Specs, we had Gold Potion, which just allowed you to heal 90 damage, and that was an Ace-Spec. Now, to be fair, it was one of the weaker Ace-Specs, and it didn't see a huge amount of play, but it did see some play, and that healed 90 damage from one of your Pokemon. Now, the downside here is that Miltank has got to be in the active. If Miltank is on the bench, this won't work. But having said that, if this worked with Miltank on the bench, this would be a ridiculously brokenly overpowered card. So I can live with it only needing to be in the active. And this is where the retreat cost of 2 comes in. But we've got plenty of options. You can just play cards like Escape Rope. Don't forget that Guzma has replaced Lysander and gives you a switch as well. So any turn when you're going to Guzma, you can put Miltank in the active, attach an energy to heal, and then Guzma and switch out. And then, of course, you've got Zoroark, who can just stand in and retreat anyway. We've got plenty of switching options, ladies and gentlemen, and especially with Guzma, it makes Miltank so much better. And look at the format we're heading into at the moment. We've got GXs with 250 HP. We've got Basics with 180 HP. Sage 1s with 220 HP. When you're not hitting for weakness, there's going to be far fewer one-hit KOs, at least in the immediate future, than there has been for the last couple of formats. And that means that healing is going to be a lot more important. In comes Miltank. Now, I couldn't possibly go through every single use of Miltank, but I'll give you a couple. Let's take Gardevoir GX. Gardevoir GX has 230 HP. So let's say, for argument's sake, your opponent uses a Tapu Bulu. Discards the energy, does 180. Or your opponent uses Berserk with a Drampa, with a Choice Band to hit for 180. Well, you get Miltank in the active. You then attach a Fairy Energy using your ability to heal 90. You then attach another fairy energy for your turn to heal 90, and all of a sudden, not only have you put more energy onto Gardevoir GX so you now do more damage, but you've healed 180 damage. Now again, we're going to have to wait for an official English translation, but the translation we have at the moment means that you can do this multiple times per turn if you attach multiple energy. You can even go nuts with something like a Magnezone and heal loads of energy. But let's be clear, there aren't that many Pokemon you're going to need to heal more than 180 per turn. And Magnezone's not particularly good. Let's take something like Golisopod, for instance. Now, Golisopod you need to get from the bench into the active. So all you need to do here is something like put your Miltank in the active and then switch into your Golisopod and you can heal while you're doing it. Maybe you stand in with Zoroark, retreat using a Flowstone to Miltank to heal, and then you use a Guzma as an example, and then you switch into Golisopod. Sounds a little bit clunky, but a lot of people are talking about playing Golisopod with Zoroark. The fact that you can now switch using a Guzma is going to make this so much better. But let's be clear, healing 90 damage a turn, I mean, you're probably going to be attaching from your hand anyway. As a side note, do remember this is attaching from your hand, so if you attach an energy using something like a Max Elixir, it won't work, whereas if you use Gardevoir GX's ability, even though you're attaching multiple, you're still attaching from your hand, same with Magnezone. So, healing 90 is just great. It is a huge amount of damage taken away. And I would be absolutely stunned if we didn't see people experimenting with Miltank to try and heal all of that damage. I mean, let's face it. Guzma alone makes this great. Any turn where you've either just had something KO'd, so you put a Miltank up, or you've got a free retreater, so you can retreat into Miltank, and you know you're playing a Guzma, then you can have a Miltank in the active, heal 90 from one of your Pokemon, and then just use Guzma, drag your opponent's Pokemon active, and switch. Miltank is good, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe it's because I'm in a good mood because today is the day that Burning Shadows is revealed, but I'm giving Miltank 4 Wassies. Healing 90 per turn is nothing to be sniffed at, and with Guzma giving us more switching options than we've had in years, I think people are going to play around with this. I honestly wouldn't be surprised to see this as a one-off tech in a lot of decks. We've got a format with lots of switching, we've got a format with few one-hit KOs, and we've now got a Pokemon that can just sit in the active and be like, hey, now you're healing 90. Unless you don't want to attach an energy from your hand this turn. But who doesn't want to do that? Now, if you disagree with me, well, that's what the comment section is there for. Go nuts, be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter @TheWassie, and Twitch at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio for some live action. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus pods, etc., you can do so at patreon.com/PTCGRadio. But by far the most important thing, look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.